Right. Who has some questions for Jeremy?
I had a question. How do you manage the expectation, since it's your name in the lights, right? The Larson Group. Like, how do you manage your expectation with your clients expecting you?
Yeah, I mean, this was the big breakthrough, right? Is like it does not have to be facilitated by me for them to have that experience. And the reality is they're looking to buy or sell a home, not necessarily work with Jeremy Larson, right? I fall into the middle of that process. And so that's not, it's just not their focal point is, oh, we want to work with him. Is that the question? Like, oh, we want to work with the name on the door. Well, I'm here to support. I'm in the background, and sometimes I got to jump on those calls and let that seller or buyer know that I'm here in the background. I'm facilitating. We've got our whole staff here, and they understand that. Most of the time, it's just setting the expectation and educating the consumer.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Hi, Sandra Moreno. Nice to meet you. So when you hire a VA, what are the top 2 to 3 things you ask them and or look for?
Yeah, so we use Spear Rocket is a company we go through, and they will recruit and set up the interviews. And so it'll actually be it's kind of a wild thing to do. Is you feel almost like Simon Cowell. Like they come on and you're interviewing like next, or like I'm just not feeling it next, right? So it's like American Idol. But I want to know about their personal life. And what I found was when I asked them that, they started blushing. Like, hey, do you have a family? I want to know who's working for me, right? Even if they're way out there in the Philippines, I want to know if you have kids. I want to know if you're a single mom. I want to know your personal situation. So I like to know their personal situation. That's going to help me know a little bit more what drives them. Because again, I'm looking for them to fit into the community. Just because they're a virtual assistant doesn't mean that, they still have to fit in with the community. Yeah, thank you.
What limiting beliefs do you have? So like, we say like where you want to get to requires a new version of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what were some of those limiting beliefs that you had in growing to where you went from the team to where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one was what I mentioned, is that realizing that the experience, the level of work, the service that I was providing was 100% duplicatable by somebody else. That they could do it just as good, if not better than me. Like, think about that, Mike. You could hire someone who's actually better than you. And so that was the biggest breakthrough is realizing that, and then getting clear on why I wanted to do what I want to do, right? Because there's a huge opportunity for everybody right now. It doesn't matter if the market's shifting. Big opportunity time right now.
Hey, Jeremy, I just wanted to highlight what you were talking about, virtual assistants. I
Please.
actually have a full-time virtual assistant who does all of my TC work and closed 18 deals last month.
Wow.
So virtual assistants can be amazing. What you have to remember is you have to inspect what you expect. So you cannot do the seagull approach where you fly in, dump a bunch of crap on their desk, and fly out. You have to literally spend some time, and we train them on Zoom, so everything we do on Zoom, we have a Trello board. Virtual assistants can change your life, literally. So I'm really glad you brought that up and wanted to highlight that it's incredibly valuable. I used them for 10 years back in the REO days, doing all my BPOs, everything. They never call in sick, they always show up.
They don't call in sick. Yeah.
Never. But they will do exactly what you tell them. So you have to remember they do exactly, it's just like a computer, garbage in, garbage out. So if you will spend that time training them and teaching them, they're the most loyal people on the planet. They're extraordinary. I'm also part of Sphere Rocket, so it's a great program, but I had them before Sphere Rocket, so.
Awesome. I'm so glad you shared that. Plus, we live in California, and so the less employees I can hire and lean into the VAs, I like that. I like that approach better. It's a lot cleaner. All right, let's do, we got time for a couple more questions. We got one over here.
Yeah, I'm
Hey, you talked about opportunities and you talked about things changing, and we all do see the market coming.
Yeah.
If you could look out 2 years trying to get ahead of where the market's going, what shifts are you going to make in your business to address the change in markets?
That's a great question. So one thing that we started doing right away was dialing in on that old school salesmanship, right? We got away from that, you guys. We got away from that stuff, and so I'm talking about the old school, like Brian Tracy and like all that old school stuff, the dialogues, the script, the cadence, your confidence, listening, because we got away from that. And so we're doing a 12-week, we hired a trainer to come in, and he's coaching our team on a 12-week course right now. And so I want our agents to be very confident in the data and being able to explain the data to the consumer and what the data actually means, not the person that talked to them at a cocktail party that said the market's going to crash or they're waiting for the market to crash, right? Like, it's crazy right now how much information your buyers and sellers are hearing. Okay, yesterday somebody told me that they had a pre-approved buyer they've showed 4 homes to, and they called them up and said, we don't want to buy anymore. We're scared that the market's going to crash. The agent said, well, where did you hear that? I said, well, I saw some YouTube videos. Right? Like, somebody is watching a TikTok video from somebody that doesn't own a home, that lives with their parents, saying that the market's going to crash. And they're pulling out of the market. Like, think about that, you guys. It's a crazy time right now. And so I feel where the market's going right now is the emotions are going down. It's going to continue to professionalize itself. And the agent that's going to win in the next couple years is the one that can communicate that information and what it means. Okay? Think about it. A flat market is how many months supply? Who knows? 6. When was the last time you guys had a 6-month supply, if ever? Right? So even what is the supply at right now? Is it around 2 months for you guys? Okay, yeah, it went up the last month. Yeah, I thought it was almost 2. And so even if it goes up to 4 months, that's a big difference in the marketplace. And so those days of just running out, showing a home, writing up an offer, and stalking the listing agent, they're going bye-bye, okay? And so how we're going to get ahead is we need to be able to present the data and say what it means. It's still a great time to buy. It's still a great market. And think about it this way. They're saying the interest rates are going to go down in 12 to 18 months, okay? If interest rates go down in another year or 2 years, there would be more competition for the home that you're wanting to buy. This could be a good time to lock up that home and then refinance when they go down again. Okay, so I think there's a lot of power, going back to your question, in the dialogue that us as agents are having with our consumer, and remembering that buying and selling, mostly buying, is always personal, right? A lot of times when someone's selling, it's like, hey, I'm trying to hit this number, we'll sell at this price. Okay, so there's 3 reasons why someone sells. It could be any of the 3 reasons. These are the driving factors why a person would sell their home. 1 is price. 2 is convenience, okay? And 3 is caring. They want someone who is going to respect the garden that their mom planted 30 years ago. That's the buyer they're going to go with. Most people are going to go for price. There will always be a percent of people that will take the all-cash offer even if it's below, right? Remember the billboards we used to see, we buy ugly houses, and it was in yellow? Right? Like, there's always a marketplace for that quick, easy offer because that seller just wants convenience over price and over anything else. But buying a home is personal. It's always personal, right? It's your first time purchase, or it's that new home. The emotions are flying. You don't want to pay rent. You want to get in that neighborhood. And so we've got to go back to that and ask them, to remind them why they originally started looking at a home, what they're excited about in buying a home versus where they're at. And so that's how we're going to get ahead in the next couple of years. That's who's going to get the revenue share, is the agents that can present the data and say what it means and what it's meant historically, right? Do you guys think in a recession home prices go up or down 80% of the time. Yell it out if you know the answer. Up. They go up in a recession. 80% of the time they go up. Okay, that's information that people need to hear right now because they're watching YouTube videos and TikTok videos from a 17-year-old that lives with mom saying the market's going to crash. Buy NFTs. Right? It's crazy, right? It is crazy. So we gotta take that responsibility and communicate with our clients.
Jeremy, I got a quick question for you.
Yes.
Back here. Hey, man, if you were dropped into our market, what would you do to get business like as soon as possible, and how would you do it?
Oh, man, I love your guys' market because it's bigger. One of the challenges where I'm at, well, not necessarily in Monterey County, which we just expanded out to last year, but Santa Cruz is a small market. If I just got dropped off here right now, like who I am as a parent, I'd be taking my kids to school and walking them out and talking to parents. I'd be doing what I do. I coach softball for my daughters. That's been my biggest source of business is coaching softball, as crazy as that sounds. Right? Round of applause. It's not why I do it. Right? I do it because I'm that parent. Like I'm going to go to every game. That's why I work. That's why we work our tails off so we can do things that other parents can't. I'm at every game. I'm like, man, I might as well be on the field. So screw it. Let's do it. But when you're coaching something for your kids, or you're going to your kids' birthday parties, or you're talking to those parents, and I know I'm just talking to the parents right now, but I'll take it back. You're building trust with those people. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're coaching my daughter at something, you have established trust with me the last 3 months. And now we're friends on Facebook, and now I built trust with you. I know you're a realtor. You check in with me once a quarter. Like, boom, you're getting my referrals. There's no question about it. So I would plug in to people. That's my answer, is I would get around people. If for parents, it's easy. As crazy as that sounds. If you don't have parents, then I would do the opposite. I would go join some clubs. I'd go work out at a gym, get to know people. I would just start meeting as many people as I could to become friends with them, get them on my social, and follow up with them. Okay? Like the most basic recipe for social media is one personal thing a week and one real estate thing. Okay? If you're in this room and all you're doing is real estate stuff, nobody wants to see that crap. Right? We don't want to see it. We just don't want to see it. We want to see a picture of you doing something with your significant other or something you're excited about, like one personal and a couple real estate things a week, and that's it. That is it. People do not want to see all you're just sold and in contract nonstop. Now, if it's your business page, that's totally separate. But on the personal page, you got to switch it up. You got to mix it. Okay? And on that note, what I would do, what I've done, is make your social media public. Don't make it private. I know who's scared to death to do that? Raise your hand. I know you are. I see the faces when I said that. Make them public. Okay? Why hide? Just don't put anything super personal on there if you're worried about that. All right. Anybody else? Yes, right here in the front.
You were going to talk about the showing agent model.
Oh, the showing agent model. Good. Awesome. Thank you. So we brought on a showing agent this year, and how that works is our top tier agents use her. We knew exactly who that avatar was when we were running ads and calling agents and letting them know we were looking for a showing agent. We wanted somebody who hated sales. Okay? And they're out there, right? Raise your hand if you know somebody who got a real estate license and they hate sales, they hate negotiating. Okay, that's a perfect showing agent. They love all things real estate except for the real work that we all do. You know, they hate the following up and they hate all that, but they love meeting people. They love unlocking doors. They love showing homes. So we knew who we were looking for, and we got that right person, and we hired him immediately. Her name's Megan, and she's amazing. And so the model is Megan gets 8% of the agent's commission when a deal closes. But here's the deal. The agent has to meet that buyer the first time. You can't just take a phone call and be like, you're going to go meet Megan. That's not how it works. So the agent has to go shake the hand, get the face out there, be friends with them, get to know them, And then they say, I have a showing partner moving forward. Between me and my showing partner, okay, I'm explaining to you the handoff, how important that dialogue is. Between me and my showing partner, we've got you covered 24/7. They say, wow, really? That's so cool. Yep. Whenever you're available to see a home, if it works for the seller, we will set it up between the two of us. So that handoff's really important. Now, here's what's great. Once we get in contract, guess who opens the door when the buyer wants to go measure the living room floor for a couch? Do you think the agent does or the showing agent? Showing agent. Guess who shows up for the appraisal? Showing agent. Pest inspection, home inspection, anything afterwards is the showing agent. Number one, the showing agent's got to earn that 8%. But number two, this frees up the top producing agent to do the tasks that really drive the business. Okay, and that's why the showing agent can only work with our busy agents, because they keep her going all week long, about 40 homes a week. She schedules them. Yeah. So she's on a group text. There's a group text. Say I have a buyer. It's me, the showing agent, and my buyer. We're on a group text. And so whenever they want to see a home, it comes through on the group text. She contacts the listing agent. She pulls the disclosures. She gets everything sent off. And then after the showing, she'll let me know if they were interested or if they had any questions. Yes, sir.
Does she do the AVID?
No.
Yeah.
Dang it. I know. Man, still got to do that. Yeah, if your name's on the line, like, that's your ass. Right? We forget that we're licensed with the state of California, right? Like, yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Do you pay the showing agent a salary?
Nope.
No.
Nope, it's just the 8%. But here's the thing. She only works with busy agents, right? And it's a win-win, because now these agents get to focus on what's producing their business, and they can have a much better lifestyle.
And do you draw a contract with them up front so that they don't take the client whatsoever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we have an agreement.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Jeremy. My question kind of piggybacks on that one. What percentage of your staff is hourly or salary? And are any of your agents paid a base wage, or all of them just solely commission-based?
Yeah, all the agents are commission. They will always be commission-based. Again, state of California, that would get you in a lot of trouble. They're all commission-based. Now, the staff, operations manager, marketing manager, they are employees on payroll. And so they're on a whole package, and I have benefits for them, and they're on a whole situation. So they're actual employees. Yeah. So anyone that you have set up that has to be at a specific place at a specific time, that has to be an employee. Okay? Don't go against that. You will get in trouble.
Jeremy, you mind going through like your 9 million, 30 million, 100 million? Like, what were your lead sources? How did you continue to double? How'd that work?
Yeah, let's dive in. So literally the 9 to 30 was me putting myself in the right environment. So that is when I went to EXP, was in February of 2019. And that model allowed me to have access to top team operators and agents across the country that was not existent anywhere else that I was aware of in my market. And so that allowed me to be like, hey, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? And the cool thing is I'm learning from all these people that aren't even in my market. And they're like, well, let me just send you my playbook. Let me just send you this. Let me send you that, you know? And so that really opened that up in 2019. That was as a solo agent. And so a big part of that was I did hire my first assistant when I was a solo agent. And he did everything, you guys. Crazy stuff. Geez, sometimes he'd have to take a sign down, hang a sign up, do personal stuff, pick this up, do that, call this person, do that, do this. It was, just super random stuff. But he got that mentorship and that training, and now he's one of the best agents on our team. But that was 2019. So I went from 9 million to 30 million in 2019 by being able to double down on what was working, and then started building a team at the end of 2019. And again, that was tapping into the access that I had. I was able to eliminate the trial and error approach to business. And this is something that we're, as agents, we're guilty of, just going with this trial and error. Okay, and so the model at EXP allows us to have access, and that access helped me completely eliminate that trial and error. So I got to learn the whole hiring process. Everything I talked about today is something that I've pulled from other people within our group. You know? And so I got to see, hey, what exactly does your assistant do? What do you mean you have a marketing manager? Whoa, what does that person do? Can you send me a list? Can you send me the agreement they signed? Can you send me this? Can you send me that? Can you show me how to do this? And so having that support was a complete game changer. And that's how I did it. And then taking action. All right. Yeah, we got a question?
Considering you have a pretty large staff, if you don't mind sharing, what kind of profit margin does the team work on?
Most team operators are trying to get 20%. When I was smaller, it was a lot better. It was a lot better. So when you're smaller, it's better, right? You get a lot higher margin, but 20% is the goal. That's what we're going off of. That's a great question.
Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
you said you were in Santa Cruz and then you opened in Carmel. Obviously, Carmel is a golden apple.
Yeah.
Did you open a physical office in Carmel? Did you feel that was important to your presence, or how did you do that with your EXP model being virtual?
Yeah.
To play there?
Yeah, so again, we're talking about the core team, not my EXP organization, right? And so we went out there without an office to start with. And luckily for us, it's about an hour away. And so we went out there without an office, started getting leads and doing all the activities and everything that we need to drive business, and started recruiting,
You shifted your lead gen there first, and then
just expanded it and recruited local agents at the same time, and just said, look, we don't have an office right now. We're going to get one. We want to wait till we find the right place. And we went after the low-hanging fruit. We knew we weren't going to get a whole bunch of business in Pebble Beach right away. So we went into Salinas and started doing a ton of business there. And I knew if we could do it here, it'll just have a ripple effect, and it'll get us into Carmel and Pebble Beach. And here we are. We have a beautiful office in Carmel. Yeah, thank you. Yes, in the back right here. I should look. I love when you ask that question to Brent or James, and they're like, let me look, and they show you. It's about 720, maybe 725. I'll hit 1,000 by December 31st. That's my big goal. Yep, great question. When I don't know if you guys want me to talk about EXP for a minute. Is that okay, James? I didn't like EXP, you guys. I wasn't crazy. The name was okay, but there's a store in the mall called Express. It has EXP all over their stuff. So I didn't really like the name, and I hated the logo. Made me think of the New York Knicks, right? Like, man, I don't like that logo, man. Come on. I didn't like the logo, and I didn't like the approach that was being presented to me. Made it feel like it was multi-level marketing and this and that. So I didn't like any of those things. And I saw somebody go over to EXP, then another person that were smart people that I respected. And that made me scratch my head, and it made me wonder what do they see that I don't see? Because I'm really not seeing it. I understand the model, but what is it that they're seeing? And so when I started having that dialogue, what I realized was that the model is based off human behavior. And what the model creates is it breaks down the walls for access. And it's going to allow me to have access to all these top team operators and top agents on a level that does not exist anywhere else. Well, why is that? Because if we're at ABC Brokerage, let's pretend this is ABC Brokerage right now. We're all here at ABC. We all want each other to do well because we're human beings, right? But like, I don't know if I'm going to get in front of all you guys and give you my playbook and tell you exactly how I do everything. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But when we're at ABC Brokerage, the only incentive we have to help each other is just being good people and nice people and wanting to see each other be successful. That's it. And so when we look at the EXP model, we all have stock, right? And then there's the revenue share. And then there's the story, right? Like the stories you hear in this company are insane, right? I wasn't even into the revenue share thing. And then people started telling my story. Oh, this guy in Santa Cruz tripled his business his first year and started building a team. I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're attracting agents. I need to get on this. They're telling, you know what I mean? Like they're telling my story. I'm not telling my story. I need to start telling my story now. So with EXP, that's the big game changer. That's why we all want to help each other, because we have those deep emotional investments. And that's why the company's growing as fast as it's growing. That's why it's unstoppable. There's nothing like it. There's a couple wannabes, but there's nothing like it, right? Nothing like the real thing. Yeah, so again, when I came over here, it was revenue share, the stock. I wasn't interested in any of that on any level. I'm very interested now. But I was not interested in any level when I came over. I just wanted to build and grow my business, and I felt this model was by far the best place for me to build and grow. And I was in coaching at the time. I was in Tom Ferry coaching. I've been a certified mentor with the Buffini Company. And so I was in those rooms, but you can't get everything you want there. And so having that access, like you guys have access to everything I have, right? Like you want to see my onboarding process, you want to see agreements, you want to see anything we have, it's yours. And that's because of the model. That's the power of what it can do.
Jeremy, if we want to see that, where do we go?
You know what? Just send me a DM. Send me a message.
Slide into your DMs?
Yeah, just slide right in there. Because then you'll hear from the operations manager himself. He'll send it to you right away.
Also, Jeremy, we'll have a button on the front page of BrentGove.com. Anything you want to give us will be right there.
Awesome, let's do it.
I have one more question for you, Jeremy. If anybody, feel free. This doesn't have to be the last one. But Jeremy, where are the three sources of your closings coming from?
For us, where's our business coming from? You heard me mention open houses. It may be the single best use of our time or as an agent's time with the right approach. I don't know what else beats an open house when you set up a lot of signs, you post it on your stories, you put it on social media, you do the neighbor VIP open house on Friday evening, 6 to 7 or 6 to 8. Give them a gift card, a $25 gift card, because that's all the IRS allows. Give them a $25 gift card to Target. Oh, man, the neighbors will be lining up. We do $25 Target gift cards. We get all the neighbors. They want to make sure they're there on time. We enter them in a raffle, right? We enter them in a raffle. We need their name, their email, and their cell phone number. They'll do it for a gift card. Okay? And so nothing just beats an open house. Okay, so we love the open houses. Sphere of influence is big. I mentioned that to you guys. We're just starting now that, with the whole situation with the pandemic, we're starting to get back into our client appreciation parties. We usually do one a quarter. And hey, listen, these don't have to be big and fancy. You go take out 12 of your girls out wine tasting or to a wine bar and just hang out with them, and then sometime at the right moment, you feel it out, you stand up and say, hey, just want to thank you all for coming. Want you to know I really appreciate your support for my business. And I know I don't need to tell you this because we're all friends, but anytime you come across anybody looking to buy or sell a home, I would love to help them out. Okay? Do you understand that you have to train people to send you referrals? Okay? You have to train them. some people get it right away. Boom, of course, Jeremy, there's nobody else. But like my neighbor kept coming to my client parties, and he'd come and he'd be like, I don't know if you want me here because I don't want to sell. You know, sweet old couple, best neighbors in the world. I don't want you to move. We love you. You know, we can be as loud as we want. You guys don't hear anything. You know, we're loud. And so, but it took him about 3 years to be like, oh, you're asking me for referrals, okay? So you've got to educate people for referrals. So sphere of influence is big, okay? And then for us, we do like online leads, okay? Some people don't. We like online leads because it can be fast, okay? It can be fast and to the point. And so if our approach is to meet as many people as possible, get them to like us, know us, trust us, let them know we're a realtor, and follow up with them, online gives us an ability to do that. So like I said, we like them all, Zillow, Realtor, anything that gets us in front of people or can get them to reach out to us, we're for it. I think there's a big opportunity for branding more than ever, as weird as that sounds. As the market shifts, we're going to see people get away from it. I think there's a big opportunity right now for branding. We're going to get a van, as crazy as it sounds with my freaking face on the side of it, but we're going to get a van, and I'm going to let nonprofits use the van free when our clients aren't using it. Did you catch that? So I'm going to have someone driving a billboard around town. I'm happy to do it. That's branding. We're going to get into branding. A lot more branding. We're not going to be on billboards, but we're going to get into more branding and building the brand. I think there's a big opportunity for you to build your brand. Like, you should be branding yourself, right? Big mistake, I think, right now is when agents are at a brokerage that doesn't let them brand themselves in any way possible, and it has to be the broker's name front and center on the sign and everything you do. You need to be branding yourself, because the consumer does not care about the name on the front of the jersey. All they care about is the name on the back. All they care about is how we make them feel. So those are my three. Yeah. Questions? Oh, the neighbors only open house? Because we want to create an event just for the neighbors. And think about this. How important is it to connect with those neighbors? Do you understand how important that is? And so I'm trying to get a listing with those neighbors, right? And so if I have the neighbors just come to the open house, it could be busy, and I might not be able to connect with them. Right? Because I promise you, nobody else, I shouldn't say nobody else, but most people aren't doing a neighbors only open house, right? Okay? And so it's an opportunity to stand out, connect, get their name, put a face to the name, let them know who I am, follow up, get them in our drip campaign on the social, the whole thing. And so it's got to be exclusive. They want to come. They want to see what their neighbor's house looks like. But then there's a neighbors only VIP open house raffle. They're going to show up. I promise you they will show up. Yes, they might have a family member that wants to move into the neighborhood, or they might know somebody else who's thinking of selling. And so when you click with some of these neighbors, man, they will go to work for you. They'll let you know who's thinking of selling. Yes, right here in the green shirt.
Okay, so two parts to that. When you do the neighbors open house, are you putting out all your normal open house signs?
No, they're separate for the neighbors only open house. It's a separate postcard that gets sent to them.
Through the mail?
Yep.
Okay, and then going back to your other question when you're talking about branding, everybody that's on your team, are you recommending them branding everything to the team or branding to themselves?
So they brand, for them it makes the most sense to leverage the team branding. That's part of being on a team, is you don't have to invest a whole bunch of money in branding, right? So they can do their name and do the branding, but then it's like they've got their name, they've got Larson, they've got EXP. So part of joining a team is they get to leverage what's already in place, right? So there's 3 reasons anybody should join a team. Okay, according to Tom Ferry, there's 3 reasons anybody should join a team in any particular order. The first one is leadership and mentorship. The second one is resources. That could be your website, your CRM, It could be the office. It could be who you know. Okay, and then number 3 is leads. Okay, so if you're running a team, one way or another, you've got to feed this person. And you don't have to feed them as much as you think. But you got to get them some at-bats. That's why they're on the team. They need some at-bats.
Why should you run a team?
Why? Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of people that shouldn't. If you don't like people, you shouldn't run a team. Seriously, right? Like if that sounds like super painful is to supervise people or have to hold people accountable, you should not run a team. You should have an assistant or a buyer's agent, right? You shouldn't run a team. I'm one of those people, like I love helping people out. I love seeing a brand new agent get in contract. You know, I love that. I'm passionate about that. That's a good question. Yes, sir.
So based on that last question, how do you divide your time between helping a new agent become successful and having time for your own production and growing your revenue share group?
Yeah. So as far as personal production, I don't do a lot of that. So we can kind of eliminate that for the most part. Now, keep in mind, we have an onboarding process that everyone goes through. We have systems that they have to use. They have to go through the onboarding process and through the training. They have to show up for the team meetings, which are Zooms twice a week. One is a round robin check-in. The other one is a training or a Q&A or going over something. They have to show up on those. And so we have those checkpoints in place. And then if someone has not gotten in contract in 2 months, that's a big red flag. We bring them in, and now they got to come in the office 5 days a week for the next 30 days, and they got to make their 20 calls a day. And so we just did that with somebody in the second week she got in contract.
Has that 20 conversations or 20 die?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's supposed to be conversations. But yeah. The point is getting them in and getting these habits going and getting them back up to speed. Right? Because when we have the right habits, it's easy to do. We get out of our own heads and we just, boom, we do it because it's a habit. Getting them into that rhythm of being a busy agent. Great question.
Are your agents putting out their own open house signs?
No, they're using we have the open house signs. Oh, are they physically setting them up? Right now they are. But that's probably a next hire is to get somebody who can work like super early in the morning for, a couple hours and run all over setting up signs and then go pick them up and put them back. I mean, listen, I hate setting up open house signs, but it's kind of nice when people are like, oh, I saw you on Saturday setting up your open house signs. You know what I mean? Like, you think that's embarrassing that someone saw you on the corner with an open house sign, but it's like, that's really good marketing and advertising and branding, And they think of you. I want people, when they think of real estate, they think of me, right? And so setting up open house signs is not necessarily a bad thing because hopefully someone knows you, sees you, and then they're thinking about you in real estate, right? The other thing is, here's a little secret. We set up the open house signs before 7 a.m. Get those babies up. Get them up, man. Free marketing and advertising all over your listing for all the neighbors and people that are back in town. And then the one on the house, we'll put a piece of paper on there, we'll tape it, and it will say the open house hours. But we want those signs up all day long. We want you to see us. You're thinking of selling, we want you to think of us. We want the neighbors to see them. Okay? Set the signs up. Get them up early. Nothing worse than like running late and setting up open house signs and pulling up to an open house, right? And then there's always somebody there. It's the worst. Yeah, we got 2 questions right here. Ladies first.
Are your open house signs all branded with the team? Like, are they all using that and stuff?
They're all the same. Okay. Yeah, they're not individual. They're all the same.
And I would imagine they don't just say open house, like you're using them as marketing with the team information.
Oh, yes. Great question. I should have a picture up here. I'll get that added. But yes, it's our logo. It's our colors. It's our branding. So if you saw it, you would know like, oh, there he is. There they are. I saw the sign. right? Like, raise your hand if you've ever had somebody say, I saw your sign. Okay, almost everybody, okay? That's huge. You want people to see these signs, and you want them to recognize your colors and your branding. I got two more.
I was next, but nevertheless, situation-wise, how late should you put your open house on?
When the open house is done, we go pick them up, so we don't leave them out. Yeah, so we set them up early. An open house, depending on the listing, we'll do 11 to 4. If it's a hot listing, we split it up into 2 shifts, and we'll do like a 9 to 12 or a 9 to 1 and a 1 to 6. It just depends, right? Right now, for us, open house traffic is slowing down big time. We're feeling it. But the last 2 years, it's been totally bananas at open houses. We've been doubling up the shifts and doing them for longer hours, and we've been benefiting from that. But we pick the signs up right when the open house ends. It's a bad look, right? You're driving around at night at 8 p.m. and you see this stranded open house sign flat on the sidewalk. It's not even standing up. Like, when I see that, I don't know if I want to pick it up and tuck it away or step on it or what, or like send a picture to the agent. Like, it just sends the wrong message. So we make sure we pick them up. That's a pet peeve of mine if someone leaves a sign up. We got right here and then right here.
Like, so we're talking about building the sales team and doing 100 million or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
In your business, what's the breakdown of that? Is it more listing, more buyer? Is it investment? What's the breakdown of the whole,
Yeah, great question. We, for no rhyme or reason, don't work with a lot of investors. I don't know if you guys have a lot here, but I mean, there's just nobody's selling their home at a discount the last 4 years. Maybe now. Somebody emailed me this morning about something in Cameron Park. It looked like a great buy right now. We're more buyer heavy. And anybody like me who's starting a team, you're going to start on the buying heavy side unless you're a listing agent and you get a lot of listings, right? And here's the thing. Who here does a ton of listings? You do? Okay, great. And so there's a lot of, are you a solo agent? Okay, you have a team? Okay, awesome, beautiful. Okay, so the great thing about working with someone who has a lot of listings is the open house opportunities are bananas. But when you're a solo agent that gets a lot of listings, you're leaving a fortune on the table, right? I've got a good friend in my market, and he does a ton of listings, almost more than anybody in Santa Cruz. And he doesn't do open houses himself or have a team member that does them. He just sources them out to whoever wants to do my open houses. Oh, man, he is leaving. We figured he's leaving at least $200,000 a year on the table. And that's if he hired someone and paid him 50-50 on the buyer leads that they got from his open house. So you just got to realize there are opportunities all around you. They're all over. All right, I think there was another question. Yes, sir.
I want to know, are you doing anything special to collect your open house leads or like a sign-in sheet?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love this question because my answer is not what you think. You're going to think that I'm going to tell you about the app that we use on my phone. Yeah, it's not. This is the hardest part of the open houses is getting that info, right? So we use a clipboard and we have a spreadsheet. And the agent writes the name in this specific order. They write the name, the email, then the cell phone number. Then they put a number, what number of person that is on the list. And then they can flip over the paper and put number 3, has 2 kids, looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Because you need those notes. Because if you have a busy open house, you walk out of there and you will not remember it. It'll be too scattered. And the problem with technology is that you might put in a 4 and you meant an 8, or you put Gmail and not Yahoo. Then you got to go back and tell them to hold on. I got to delete and go back here. And then how do you spell it again? What is it? Okay, great. What's your husband? Okay, hold on. Let me do it. Like that interaction has got to be quick and painless for them. Okay. And so we just say, hey, the sellers have requested that everyone signs in. I just need your name. And I don't hand them or ask them to do anything. I just say, what's your name? Okay, great. And what's your email address? Okay, what's easier to get, email or cell phone? Okay, so we're starting with email. So name and email. And I say, oh, by the way, what's your cell phone number? In case one of the neighbors is thinking of selling their home, or if I have anything coming soon that is like this house, what's just a good number I could shoot you a quick text? Okay? 60% will give me that number, but the rest of them I'll kind of start to feel that tension or friction, and I jump in right away. I say, oh, don't worry, I'm a busy realtor. I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to chase you down. And like I make light of their limiting belief that's in their head. I address it right away. Don't worry, I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to chase you down. I'm busy. We've all got tons of things to do. Just a quick cell phone number. And then I'll get it and write it down, and then I'm done. Okay, you can't have them write it because their 4 will look like a 9, right? Their 3 looks like an 8 every time, okay? And you just can't rely on technology for something that important. There's an art to that handoff. Here's another golden nugget for you guys regarding open houses. The first question we always ask is an open-ended question, and this is what it is. What brings you to the neighborhood today? And then you just shut up. Because they'll tell you, oh, I live down the street. We're thinking of selling in a couple years. Or, oh, we live next door. Always wondered what this house looks like. Or, oh, I just saw your signs and we're thinking of buying a home. Or, oh, nothing. We were just in the area. Thought we'd pop in. Our grandma's thinking of selling her house. The open-ended question will help you get what you need to receive to work with the rest of that conversation and dialogue during the open house. So what brings you to the neighborhood? Don't say what brings you to the open house. Okay? It's just like when you guys go into a shoe store. You specifically went there to buy shoes, and you walk in. And I say, hi, sir. Is there anything I can help you with? And he says, nope. What do you say? I'm just looking, right? And then 5 minutes later, you're like, do you have this in a 10.5? Okay, and so if I worked at a shoe store, I'd ask you an open-ended question. Hey, how are you doing today? You know, hey, what brings you to the store? Or what brings you to the neighborhood? Even at the shoe store, it works, right? Man, I need to start a shoe training. But what brings you to the neighborhood? That open-ended question is great for open houses. That's going to get you the information that you need. And if someone already has an agent, I ask them who they're working with. Because half the time they say they have an agent and they don't even remember who their agent is. And so if that's the case, we'll continue the dialogue, tell them we'd love to have the opportunity to earn their trust and their confidence. But if they're like, oh, I'm working with John, he's great, I've known him for years, I'll be like, awesome, that's great that you have somebody you like, know, and trust. Go take a look around the house and let me know if you have any questions. And then I move on. Okay, on the open houses, you want to focus your time and energy on anybody who doesn't have an agent. Remember, it's your pop-up shop for the day, right? Like this is Jeremy's pop-up shop. This is my office. It just happens to be this house. But we've got our branding, our signs. I'm talking to the neighbors. I'm waving at the mailman. I'm kissing babies. I'm doing the whole thing when I'm there, right? Like that's how you want to approach it. All right, any other questions on open houses? Yes.
Materials that you provide at your open houses, like marketing of listings or previous sold?
Yeah, we do. So we have a handout for people that we're going to work with. Like it's a buyer folder that we give them, and we have what we have on there is we print the coming soons and the cancels and the expireds, and we call it our off-market list. That's good, right? So we give them that. If we connect with them, we give them that. We say, hey, this is for our clients only. And I tell the agents, like, just a vanilla folder and write clients only on it, right? Like, the less polished it looks, the more like, ooh, let me see that. These are some of the off-market listings that we have access to right now. Anything, right? Like, think about it. Coming soon. You guys, is it members only out here for coming soons? Members only, cancels, and expireds. And anything that like you may have coming up or your team, put that on there too. Depends on the listing. Definitely on the weekends, but if we have a hot open house, we'll do it on the week. Like broker tour, we treat broker tours like they're an open house. we set up signs all over for broker tours. And we crush those. We crush that because we'll get a neighbor, we'll get somebody who's like, oh, I saw the signs. I didn't know there was an open house on a Thursday at 3 o'clock. And they'll come in. So we do really well with broker tours, picking up clients by setting up signs all over and taking an approach as if it's a normal open house. Because if you're going to go there, like, you might as well leverage your time anyways, right? Like, is there really a ton of value in you going there and giving out free coffee and croissants to all the agents in the area? I don't know, but if you can pick up a new buyer or a listing, that's huge. Yes?
So you touched on video earlier. What is your video initiative?
Yeah, as far as like the videos that we're doing. Yeah, so the easiest one is the market update video, right? Everybody here knows that, but gosh dang it, it's so dang easy. And you don't need to be like this, something you're not. Just share 3 statistics, right? How did the Sacramento market fare for the month of May? Always start with a question. Hey, what's up? Jeremy Larson here at the Larson Real Estate Team. For this month, our median home price was what? What's the median home price right now? Median home price was $580. We had a 1.3 month supply of homes, and the average time it took for a home to get in contract was 17 days. Then I would share how it looked a year ago. A year ago, median home price was $475. We had a supply of 3 weeks, and average time it took to get in contract was 14 days. Based off these statistics, with the inventory still being low, I expect prices to hold where they're at, possibly go up. If you have any questions, myself or my team would love to help you out. You could go to our website, you could call me, you could text me, you could reach out through any of the social outlets. Just that easy. And you don't need the fancy video equipment, okay? I mean, dude, these things are insane, right? What they can do, that's all you need. Set it up on a tripod and record it, and at least post that on your social outlets and then send it to your database, okay? Think about it. Do you think your database is going to open a video that you send them? That's a pretty good chance, right? And even if they don't watch the whole thing, it's a TV commercial that you're sending to the people who have the biggest influence on your business. So even if they just watch a minute of your market update, even if they're not thinking of buying or selling right now, that's huge. There's value in that. So start with the market update video. And then you can copy content that you see other agents making videos on. You know, top tips for buying a home right now when the market shifts, or best, top 3 things to do when selling your home. Should you buy the home that's in perfect condition or the one that needs some TLC? I just shot a video on that last week, right? My advice is buy the one that needs a little bit of love. So there's tons of different videos you can make. So I would do consumer videos to consumers if you're not on a team, or for your team business page, consumer face videos. And then if you are building a team, or if you're into agent attraction, then you can make agent videos, top tips for agents. Yes?
Where do you get that most current, accurate information to actually be able to rattle those statistics off?
So keeping current matters. KCM is a good source. Are people here, you familiar with that, right? That's one of our favorite sources. And then here, I'm sure you can get some local information. And then it's really easy to go on the MLS and run the numbers too. And you can get market specific, right? Like if you specialize in Roseville, or you want to make a video, a market update for Folsom, you want to do one for downtown, you want to do one for wherever your reach is, you can have fun with it and do different videos. And so I like those videos. I like neighborhood spotlight videos too. Like you could do a video about Roseville and video yourself walking around at a park, your top 3 favorite restaurants or places to go. That's a hit. People love seeing that too. Yes?
I just wanted to actually highlight on open houses, another thing that, to me has been amazing amazing about open houses for us agents at EXP is recruitment. There's those days where, I'll be there and I have a bunch of clients coming with their agent, and sometimes I see other agents kind of back away and let them be. Well, I normally use that as a, opportunity to try to recruit. I try to ask them if they're happy where they're at. And I say that's another amazing benefit about open houses for us agents at EXP too.
Is agents coming to your open house?
Yeah, when they come
Oh,
in,
yeah.
Their clients, a lot of people back away because, you're not going to take their clients, but what about the agent? Are they happy where they're at? So giving them the opportunity to hear about EXP during the open houses is also amazing time.
Especially in the market we've been in, right? Like if you're the listing agent, like you're everybody's best friend. So yeah, that's a good point. I believe that nothing but good things come from doing open houses. Now, you can have a horrible open house and nobody shows up, but I just believe if you're putting in that effort and you have a positive attitude, good things are going to come your way.
Well, that was pretty incredible. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Awesome.
Sounds like we need to bring him back and do something just on open houses. You and Brent Gove get up here.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Like it.
Hey, everybody, this would not happen, obviously, without Jeremy coming from all the way from Santa Cruz, so give him another round of applause.
Thank you.
And the gentleman in the back is James. James and Brent are the reason why Jeremy is here, so give James and Brent a big round of applause as well, too,
Yes.
please. So with that, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you at the next event. Become a luxury listing specialist. Have a great day.
Thank you.